Hello students, hope you are doing good. My name is Priya Singh and today I am going to start with one of the topic from 10th standard mathematics, polynomial. Let us start with the polynomials. First I will explain you the basics of polynomial so that you get a revision of whatever you have studied in previous standards. Let us take one example, that is 4x squared. Let me zoom it for you. What I'm going to do here is explain you each and every component of this term. The first component is known as coefficient. They are nothing but the numbers. Another one is variable. Variables are the alphabets used in the equations. Variable means the values can change. The values differ. Can you see something is written above the variable? Yes, 2. It is known as exponent or power. It is also known as index. In all, this whole component comprises to form a term. Students, if I ask you, what is the degree of this term? You can easily tell 2. Yes, it's correct. It's 2. Now, if there are many terms in an equation, then how are we calculating the degree? Let us take another example. To calculate, I am going to find out the exponent of each term. So here is my first term, 4x squared. What is the exponent of first term? Yes, it is 2. Now let us find the exponent of second term. Yes, you are absolutely correct. It is 3. Third term? Yes, it is 1. Now find out the highest exponent among this. Yes, the highest exponent is 3, thus the degree is 3. So how we are calculating the degree? We calculate the degree by calculating the highest exponent of the equation. Now let us understand the word polynomial. Polynomial comes from poly, which means many, and nomial, which means term in our case. So in all, it becomes many terms. So polynomials means many terms. It can have one term to many terms. What is the exact definition of polynomials? Polynomial can have constant, that is the numbers, then variable, that is the alphabet, which changes the value, exponent, that is the power. They all are combined using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. As we have already seen in our previous examples, they were combined using plus, minus, addition, multiplication, and division. Here is an important point written. See, I have drawn a box for it. So what is that important point? Variable cannot be in denominator. That means exponent cannot be negative. Let us take example to understand it. Here, first example is 5x raised to minus 2. So what is the power? Minus 2. In second example is 1 upon x plus y. Here, x plus y is in denominator. If I take this denominator in the numerator, the power will become minus. So, variables cannot be the denominator and exponent cannot be negative. If it is present, then they are not polynomials. Now let us go and understand the different types of polynomial as per the degree. So here is the first one, that is linear polynomial. Linear polynomial have a degree as 1. If you check the example, 3x, x is having degree 1. Root 2u, u is having degree 1. Now let us take another one, that is quadratic polynomial. What is quadratic polynomial? Yes, degree is 2. Example, 3x square root 2u square. If you are able to see, you can see 3x square, that is power of x is 2. And u square, the power of u is 2. Now the last but not least, that is cubic polynomial. The degree over here is 3. Example, 3x cubed root 2u cubed. As you can see, x is having power 3 and u is also having power 3. This was a short revision of what you have already studied in your previous standard. Now let us see what is there in 10th standard. You can see some text is written over here. Now what is this text? Let me read it for you. If p of x is a polynomial in x and if k is any real number, then the value obtained by replacing x by k in p of x is called the value of p of x at k. X is equal to k and is denoted by p of k. Now I have read it, but it is all theoretical. You might have not understood what it means. Let me give an example. Suppose p of x is 4x. I want to find p of k. What I can simply do is just put x is equal to k. I'll get 4k. This is my value for p of k. That is 4k. Now I will read it again so that you get the answer. Let me clear all the drawings I have drawn. Okay. If p of x is a polynomial in x and suppose I had taken considered the equation as 4x. So it was a polynomial in x and k was any real number. So what I did, I replaced x by k in p of x and got the answer and called it as p of k. So this is how we calculate p of k. Now here k can be any real number. Let us consider one example to understand it in more better way. So p of x is equal to x square minus 3x minus 4 and I'm supposed to find out at minus 1, 2 and 4. Let us first find out at minus 1. So we have p of minus 1 is equal to minus 1 square. What I am doing? Putting the value of x as minus 1. I'll get minus 1 square minus 3 into minus 1 minus 4. That is 1 minus of minus 3 minus 4. That is 1 plus 3 minus 4. That is 4 minus 4. I can say it as 0. If you have noticed, I have just simply put the value of x as minus 1 and got the value of p of minus 1 as 0. Let us try for another one, that is for 2. So p of 2 will be x is equal to 2. I get 2 square minus 3 into 2 minus 4. That is 4 minus 6 minus 4. 4 got cancelled. I got minus 6. Now let us check for another, that is p of 4. P of 4 is equal to 4 square minus 3 into 4 minus 4. That is 16 minus 12 minus 4. I get 0. Now students, if you see it clearly, or can you find out some difference? For P of minus 1 I got 0, and for P of 4 I also got 0. So here comes our new term, that is 0 of polynomial. What it is? A real number k is said to be 0 of polynomial p of x if p of k is equal to 0. What does it mean? It means I have found it p of minus 1 over here, then p of 2 and p of 4. If suppose the value of p of k, that is my p of minus 1 is 0, then minus 1 will be the 0 of polynomial. Similarly, 4 will be the 0 of polynomial, but 2 will not be. As I've written, p of minus 1 is equal to 0 and p of 4 is equal to 0. Therefore, minus 1 and 4 are the zeros of quadratic polynomial x square minus 3x minus 4, and it is the concept of zeros of polynomial. I'll give you a short summary again. Suppose one equation is given, that is p of x, and I want to find p of k, where k is any real number. Then I simply need to put the value of k in the equation and get the answer. If it comes as 0, then that value of k will be the 0 of that polynomial. Now let us go on the next concept. In general, if k is the 0, suppose if k is the 0 of p of x, which is given as ax plus b. As you can see, student, ax plus b is nothing but a linear equation. It is a linear equation. Why linear? Because the degree is 1. I want to find that if at p of k is 0, then what is the value of k? What I'm simply going to do is, I'll put x is equal to k. I got p of k is equal to ak plus b is equal to 0. I have put x is equal to k. Taking b on the RHS, I get ak is equal to minus b. That is k is equal to minus b by a. Students, please pay attention over here. What is b? It is a constant term. What is a? It is the coefficient of x. So can I say the 0 of linear polynomial ax plus b is minus constant term upon coefficient of x. So here my statement comes as, thus the 0 of linear polynomial is related to its coefficient. As you can see over here, it is related to a and b, and we can say for linear polynomial it is related to its coefficient. Now, after reading all this, there are few questions coming in my mind. Let us check them. Does this happen in the case of other polynomials too? That means, does it happen in quadratic, cubic, or higher degree polynomials? What is the other question? For example, are the zeros of quadratic polynomial also related to its coefficient? Okay, so this is what we are going to study in our next section. Are the quadratic polynomials, cubic polynomials, or the higher degree polynomials related to somehow with the coefficient? We are going to first analyze it geometrically. Let us check geometrical meaning of zeros of a polynomial. First, we will see the geometrical representation of linear and quadratic polynomial and the geometrical meaning of their zeros. Then we will go for cubic. So here is my first graph of y is equal to 2x plus 3. Now y is equal to 2x plus 3, you are already aware that it is a linear equation. And in previous standard, you have drawn the graph for this equations and it came as a straight line. So y is equal to ax plus b, which is a straight line. So for our graph, we are going to get a straight line. I have plotted some point. I've got some point by solving it. I'll explain one of it so that you get how I've got it. So I have considered the value of x is equal to -2. Now my equation is y is equal to 2x plus 3. So I'm putting the value of x in my equation to get the answer. I get y is equal to -4 plus 3. That is y is equal to -1. So this is how I calculated the other value also for x is equal to 2. This already you have studied in the previous standard, so I have not written it over here. Now let us draw the graph for this. I have taken one graph. I have plotted the y-axis, then drawn the x-axis. Now my next task is to mark the points. So here are my points. So the positive x-axis, negative x-axis, negative y-axis and positive y-axis. Now my first point is -2, -1. Let us mark it. Yes, can you see my first point is here, -2, -1. What about my second point? Yes, it is over here, 2, 7. That is over here. Now I have got my 2 points. Now my next step is to join these 2 points and get my line. So as you can see, I have drawn my line and the equation for the line is y is equal to 2x plus 3. Now I am just going to find out the intersection point of this line with x-axis. If you can see, it is between -1 and -2, that is -3/2, 0. See here students, the graph of y is equal to 2x plus 3 intersect the x-axis midway between x is equal to -1 and x is equal to -2. That is at the point -3, 0 and -3/2, 0. I repeat, this is intersecting at -3/2, 0. Now we also know that the 0 of 2x plus 3 is -3/2. How we know this? Just now we have studied that for linear equation, the zeros is nothing but -3. That is -3 is what? Minus constant term upon coefficient of x. So it is -3/2. Now check the students. It is nothing but the x coordinate. So here we come with analysis. The 0 of the polynomial 2x plus 3 is the x coordinate of the point where the graph of y is equal to 2x plus 3 intersect the x-axis. In short, if I say the line is intersecting x-axis at a point, we will take that x coordinate as the 0 of the polynomial, as the 0 of polynomial. What is 0 of the polynomial? The value of the polynomial at that x, that value of x will be 0. If I put -3/2 in our equation, I'll get the answer as 0. That is mean by 0 of polynomial. So we are done with the linear one. Let us check the quadratic graph. So here is the equation x square minus 3x minus 4. I have considered some points for x and calculated the points for y and drawn the graph. How I have drawn the graph? Here is my first point, then second point, then third point, then fourth one, then fifth one, then sixth point, then 7th point, and then 8th point. After plotting my points, I have drawn my graph. Now I have marked the intersection points of graph with x-axis. This is the first intersection point and this is the second intersection point. As you can see, the x coordinate of intersection points are -1 and 4. Hence, I can say -1 and 4 are the zeros of quadratic polynomial. So here again, wherever the graph is intersecting the x-axis, at that point we get our zeros. That x coordinate is the value of our zeros. Now, what is the shape of this graph, students? Yes, it is parabola. It is a parabolic shape. Now, let us consider some of the cases of quadratic equation. How does these cases come? See, students, I can change the coefficient or signs or addition subtraction of this equation. I can get many different types of quadratic equation, and all the quadratic equation will not give me the same graph. It is going to give me different graph. According to that graph, we have created 3 cases over here. Now let us study that cases one by one. So first of all, let us analyze the pointers we have studied till now, then we'll go for the cases. The first point is the zeros of polynomial p of x are precisely the x coordinates of the points where the graph y is equal to p of x intersect the x-axis. As I already explained you, wherever the graph cut the x-axis, that point's x coordinate is considered as the zeros value. I can say number of zeros is the number of time the plotted graph cut the x-axis. For example, in this graph, line is cutting the x-axis at 1 point. Therefore, number of zero present is 1. In our second graph, it was cutting at 2 point. Therefore, number of zero present was 2. So this is the summary of what we have studied till now. Now we are going to study the cases of our quadratic equation. Let us consider this. The shape of the graph y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. The 3 cases can happen. First case is this. What is the first case? Check the 2 graphs. There are 2 intersection points in each. Here the graph cut x-axis at 2 distinct, that is different points, a and a dash. So therefore the x coordinates of a and a dash are the 2 zeros of quadratic polynomial ax square plus bx plus c. Means the x coordinate of a will be the 1 0 and x coordinate of a dash will be 1 0. So this is my first case where I get 2 zeros. Now let us see the second case. In second case, my intersection point is at only 1 point. But how does it happen? Let us read this. The graph cut the x-axis at exactly 1 point. That is at 2 coincidence points. 2 coincidence points means a and a dash are lying at the same point to become one single point, that is a. Since it is intersecting x at 1 point, number of 0 will be only 1. That is only 1. That is at point A. And x coordinate of A will be the only 0 of quadratic polynomial ax square plus bx plus c in this case. So this was our second case where we got 1, 0. Now the third case. As you can see, students, over here, in the third case, we are not able to see any intersection point. So there is no zeros present over here. Here the graph is either completely above the x-axis like this, and completely below the x-axis like this. So it does not cut the x-axis at any point. So the quadratic polynomial has no zero in this case. If you realize, in first case we had 2 zeros, then second case we had 1 0, and the third case we are not having any zeros. Now whatever we have studied till now, let us summarize this. Quadratic polynomial can have either two distinct zeros or two equal zeros, that is 1 0. It can have 2 zeros like on first case, or 2 equal 0, that is 1 0, like in our second case, or no zero at all, that is our third case. That means quadratic polynomial can have maximum 2 zeros, can have maximum 2 zeros. Till now we realize that linear is having only 1 0, maximum number of zeros in linear is 1, and maximum number of zeros in quadratic is also 1. Now let us check for cubic. I have considered one graph for cubic, that is y is equal to x cube minus 4x. I have considered some values for x and calculated the value of y. Plotted the graph over here like this. Now, as you can see over here, there are 3 intersection points. There are how many points? There are 3 intersection points. So, these 3 intersection points gives us 3 zeros. What are the zeros? The x coordinate. So, for the first point, what is the x coordinate? -2. For second intersection point, that is origin, it is 0. And for the third, it is 2. As I have written over here, -2, that is first, then 0, that is second, and 2, that is third intersection point, are the zeros of given cubic polynomial. Now, as you can see further, since the curve made the x-axis in only these 3 points, their x coordinate are the only zeros of the polynomial. It is meeting at the 3 points, therefore their 3 x coordinates are the 3 zeros of the polynomial. Now let us consider some more graph of cubic polynomial. I have considered y is equal to x cube, and second is y is equal to x cube minus x square. As you can see, I have drawn 2 graphs. Let us study the first one, which is for y is equal to x cube. Can you see the intersection point over here? Yes, only one intersection point is present. That is at origin. So, let us consider now second one. That is y is equal to x cube minus x square. Can you see the intersection point? 1, then second. So there are 2 intersection points present over here. Now, since in the first graph we have 1 intersection point, number of zeros over here will be 1. And number of 0 in our second graph will be obviously 2. Now, we have already seen the 3 graphs for cubic. We had analyzed and summarized for linear and quadratic. Now, let us check what is summary for our cubic equations. There are at most 3 zeros for any cubic polynomial. More than 3 was not present in any of the graph. So maximum we can get is 3 zeros. In other words, any polynomial of degree 3 can have maximum 3 zeros. Now, students, let us summarize whatever we have studied. Linear degree was 1. So we can get maximum 1 zero. Quadratic degree was 2. So we got maximum zeros as 2. In cubic, degree is 3. So we are getting maximum 0 as 3. So what if the degree is n? In general, given a polynomial p of x of degree n, the graph of y is equal to px intersect x-axis at most n points. Therefore, number of zeros possible is n. Like linear, quadratic and cubic, if the degree is n, the number of maximum zeros possible is n. We can have lesser number, but maximum is n. We cannot have more than n if the degree is n. So till now we have studied about the number of zeros. Till now we are clear about number of zeros. Till now what we have studied is that the number of intersection of any graph with the x-axis gives the number of zeros present. So as for this knowledge, let us start solving some of the solved example of your textbook. So here is the first one. In this, graph is given of a polynomial p of x, and we are supposed to find out the number of zeros present. So here is my first graph. Can you see here is only one intersection point? So how many number of zeros will be present? Yes, the number of 0 is 1, as the graph intersects the x-axis at 1 point only. Only one intersection, therefore only 1 0 present. Let us take another example. So graph is given over here. Another intersection points are 2. Here you can see there is one intersection point. Here is another intersection point. There are 2 intersection points present. Therefore, the number of zeros is 2. As the graph intersects the x-axis at 2 points. Let us consider our third example. In third example, let us draw the intersection points. We can see there are 3 intersection points. So our number of zeros will be 3 as the graph intersects the x-axis at 3 points. Now let us take fourth sum. Here, as you can see in this graph, there is one intersection point with x-axis. We are not at all bothered about intersection with y-axis. What matter is intersection with x-axis. Since there is only one intersection present, number of zeros will be, yes, number of zeros will be 1 as the graph intersects x-axis at only 1 point. Let us take another example. So in this graph, as you can see, there is only one intersection point. So number of 0 will be 1 as it is intersecting at only 1 point. Let us take the last example. Yes, can you see there are many intersection points? Let us draw our first intersection point, second, third and fourth. So there are how many intersection points? 4 intersection points. Therefore, the number of zeros is 4 as the graph intersects the x-axis at 4 points. Now here we come to end with our solved example. Next we are going to solve this exercise 2.1. So here is our first sum of exercise. In this also we are having the graphs and we are supposed to find out the number of zeros like our solved example. As you can see in this graph, line is not at all intersecting the x-axis. It is above the x-axis. The number of zeros will be? Yes, the number of zero is 0 as the graph does not intersect the x-axis. Let us take the second sum. In this graph, it is intersecting the x-axis at 1 point. So, my solution will be the number of zeros is 1 as the graph intersects the x-axis at only 1 point. Now, let us take our third sum. In this graph, as you can see, there are many intersection points. Let us count them. First intersection point, second, and third. So there are in all how many intersection points? 3. So my solution will be the number of zeros is 3 as the graph intersects the x-axis at 3 different points. Now let us consider our fourth sum. The graph is given over here, and as you can see, it is intersecting at 2 different points. The graph is intersecting x-axis at 2 different points. So the solution will be the number of zeros is 2 as the graph intersects the x-axis at 2 different points. Now let us take our fifth sum. As you can see over here, our graph is intersecting x-axis at many points. Now let us count them. First point, second point, third point, and fourth point. So there are how many points? There are 4 different intersection points. So the number of zeros is 4 as the graph intersects the x-axis at 4 points. Now let us consider the last sum of the exercise. That is the last graph. Here the point of intersection is first intersection, second intersection, and the third intersection. So in all we have 3 intersections with the x-axis. Therefore the number of zeros is 3 as the graph intersects the x-axis at 3 points. So this is how we can calculate the number of zeros just by looking at the graph and finding the intersection point at x-axis. Here we come to the end of our first exercise. Thank you so much for your attention and time. Hope you are clear with all the concept of first exercise. Please make note of important points from the video. Thank you.